Hello guys, and this is the second part of the video about game Chromosome Evil 2. At the beginning of the journey we have only one vehicle, this is APC, and there we can see the equipment of our assault team and change its composition. We will go into more detail on this later, but now let's go into battle. According to the plot, we are met by a team of survivors who ask us for help. All they have is a broken bus, a bunch of wounded people, and an exalted priest who constantly quotes the Bible. We calmly repair the bus without any fuss. Fortunately, the breakdown is minor, after which we provide first aid to the survivors and evacuate them to a bus or to our combat APC. Don't forget that all the characters we rescue either join us directly in the team or will subsequently play some role in the plot. There will be some temptation to leave a couple of survivors, but we deal with it and leave only the crazy priest. When we have new characters, we will be able to compose our combat team and reserve. Each character will now have special traits, from 1 to 3. Each of these traits will affect the starting characteristics of the character. Based on this, we select an assault group so that we have a good fighter, a good shooter, and some who will do handicrafts. That is, collect supplies and interact with other objects. At the beginning of the game, of course, you should focus on hand-to-hand combat, but then you can switch to ranged attacks for a safer game. After we have selected our team, we can continue on in the next mission. We are offered to save a stuck ambulance. This can be done both in clear weather and during rain. Of course we will choose rain. In fact, we will have to clear the rubble on the road and allow the car to drive outside the combat area. All sorts of opponents will interfere with us, but I think we have already learned to cope with them. Of course, don't forget to clean out all the cars nearby, because everything will be used to us in the future. Theoretically, you can leave this mission without freeing the car, and then it will still join your convoy, but heavily damaged because it will have to drive through the rubble. All in your hands. If you haven't noticed yet, after every combat all members of our assault team becomes tired. This is indicated to us by the danger sign next to the character icon. Including this, we added a reserve mechanic. All our fighters can easily be moved to the reserve and returned back. Let's move our assault group to reserve in full force. And from there we will take this guy and send him on a mission. Icon of location shows that mission will be to recon the territory. In this game, for regular missions that are not scenario, we have added a function for selecting the game mode. Here you can choose how you will enter this location, in stealth or assault mode. In recon missions it is best to take stealth mode. Usually there are no resources or there are very few of them, and all we need to do is visit special places in order to look around the surroundings. In this mode, we enter the mission without the support of APC and without mule, but we will not have usual waves of enemies until we raise the noise level above normal. It is quite easy to raise the noise level just by firing a few shots. After this happens, the enemies will begin to spawn in normal mode, but you will not have a mule and you will have to evacuate to special designed area. We did what we need without noise and dust and unnecessary problems. Returning to the base, we see new locations and the fact that our main team has already rested. We take them in our arms and move on a mission to collect resources. We will not occupy your attention here. We just collect everything we can. Don't forget about our mule, keep him somewhere nearby, And if something happens, leave quickly. Our guys are certainly tired, but since we have nothing else to occupy them with, we simply waste time so that they can rest. We move on to the next scenario mission. Remember, in the first part, we had a mission where we had to wait until 26 guys collected their gear and left. We had to shoot from tentacles and other nasty things while they were packing up. The number of characters in this mission directly depends on how well you completed that mission from the first part. Of course, I covered the retreat of the entire convoy team, and now I am met by 3 wounded and 1 armed fighter. In order to complete the mission, we will need to finish one of the cars by removing parts from the other 2. Of course, we will be constantly harassed, but we have a little cover, and of course, let's not forget to collect everything that is here. In addition to a lot of experience and pleasant impressions, we get 4 new team members and a new car with new functions. In order for car to perform its functions, it must have a team in addition to the driver. You will decide who to appoint to this team based on the 4 characteristics: productions, research, medicine, and scavenge. Especially now, we will need research in order to assign teachers to our new machine. After leveling up, each character gains 1 skill point and 1 statistic point. In order to rise the level of one of the main characteristics, you will need the appropriate number of statistic points. For example, if you have a strength level of 2, then in order to increase it by 1 level, you will need 3 statistic points. And in order to learn 1 skill or increase its level, you will need only 1 skill point. But at the same time, it has minimal requirements for the main characteristics. Each training will require not only food, but also a certain amount of time, which depends on the characteristics of your team, of teachers and machine upgrades. All characters who went to training or are waiting for their turn naturally leave the assault group and reserve. Based on this, you will decide what to do next. We move on to the next mission, the goal of which is to find and pull out another car and add it to our convoy. Surprisingly, in this scenario-based mission, we will be asked to select a mode, and of course it is best here to take the stealth mode. First, we will wander a little through the forest in order to find the transition to next location. On the next location, we will have to scatter rubble, break through some enemy concentrations, and in the end we will find this car. Let's repair it a little and leave this mortal coil. The new vehicle in our convoy will allow us to create items. By assigning their appropriate characters with good production skills, we will be able to select several projects that are currently available to us. The number of projects will depend on how well equipped your machine is and what research you will do in the future. And of course, each project will have its own cost, not only in resources, but also in time, the amount of which will naturally depend on the skills of your team and the vehicle improvements. For crafting, 5 types of resources will be used. The first is materials, the second is iron, the third is mechanical parts, the fourth is electrical parts, and of course fuel. Now that we have wounded, we will show you how to use medicine. This is nothing complicated here. We appoint doctor and treat the characters, wasting medicine and of course time, which, as you already understand, depends on the skills of the doctors and on improvements of car. Well, to pass the time, we will visit the nearest farm to get some supplies. In this game we added the mechanics of moving between maps during one mission. Specifically, in this mission we will be able to visit the basement, where we will calmly, slowly clean out all the supplies and then return. Everything will remain as it was before leaving, so we can continue collecting resources, and of course we will leave when the situation demands it. In the next mission we are met by spectacular Blonde, who invite us to find and repair a mobile laboratory. Well, as in any story related to Blondes, a lot of trouble awaits us. We are met by a boss who will attack us in every possible way, hypnotize us, and try to eat us with worms. After we cut off all the unnecessary links, we will be asked to collect a new type of resource called research points. By the way, you don't have to kill this boss and just run past him, but then you won't get research points and something else. In the new machine, you will be able to research technologies that will allow you to produce new items. There are quite a lot of these technologies. They are divided into branches. For each new research, you will need research points and time, which depends on the skill of your research team and machine improvements. The technology tree also depends on how well equipped your research facility is. That is, you will not be able to carry out some research without first improving your car. And we are off to the next. First, we will take a good look around. Let's find a car. Of course, we will repair it, after which we are asked to open the gate and leave. And it's time to pay attention to the objective bar. As you can see, in addition to the main objective, we also have secondary one. Always, if you see secondary objectives, try to fulfill them. As a result, this will bring you either some bonuses or no penalties. To open the gate, we will first need to start the generator, which is obviously located in the basement. And there are also those very drivers and mechanics who could join our team. But unfortunately, fate decreed otherwise. This mission contains a lot of supplies, and of course I don't forget to collect them. Well, we open the gate, after which our team gradually move into the garage and continues collecting resources. But very soon it becomes clear that protecting our team from two fronts is becoming quite problematic, and we are leaving this mission. After we assign the driver and mechanics to the new car, we open improvement menu and see that each car has 6 upgrades. Every car can upgrade engine and chassis, also it has upgrade for crew capacity. These are the first 3 upgrades. Next comes base defense upgrades, which we will talk about much later. Then we usually have efficiency upgrades, and the next, most important, is to improve the equipment. And of course, as you might have guessed, we will not be able to travel anywhere while our machine is being upgraded. Meanwhile, we move on to the last scenario mission to replenish the convoy. The former team of this tractor was naively waiting for the train with their friends. But instead of friends, they had a new wonderful acquaintance. They communicated with him, unfortunately not for long, but they showed us what we should be wary of when communicating with this cool and fiery guy. After a lot of running and a lot of shooting, we will destroy this boss. By the way, this can only be done with help of melee attacks, but it will be not easy. Based on the result, we will receive either fuel or research points. By the way, the amount of fuel will depend on how long you beat the boss. The last machine will allow you to mine resources without visiting the grinding mission. You can safely send a team of scavengers to search corpses, collect fuel and search cars for loot. At the beginning, only the primitive function of searching corpses will be available to you, while later, with the improvement of machine, others will be available too. Each action to collect resources will increase the level of aggression in the location, and of course will require time, which depends on the skill of scavengers and the improvement of the machine. This concludes the second part of the video, where I talk about the game Chromosome Evil 2. Of course, there will be a third part, in which we will talk about other functions of the game, including the global map. If you are interested in any aspects of the game that you want me to reveal in more detail, write in comments. Don't forget to press like, subscribe the channel and add game to wishlist on Steam. See you later.